And welcome back to the program. So, if you have been following the developments in California, the former Secretary of State has now been named to fill the vacancy of the Senate seat that was actually won, a hard fought victory, by the way, by then Senator Kamala Harris, who's moving on to, of course, be the first black female vice president of the United States. But there's a lot of controversy or angst among the black Americans who live in California because of Governor Gavin Newsom's selection. Bring me more details about this is the West Coast Connection. Attorneys Mark Harris and Timothy Allen Simon. They join me now. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. And what is the deal? Why are so many black Americans in California upset with the governor and his appointment of Alex Padilla to take on the role as U.S. Senator in place of Kamala Harris?
First, Kelly, let me say not only happy holidays, but Merry Christmas. I'm still old school enough to say Merry Christmas and remember Jesus is the reason for the season. So let me say that starting out. You see I'm rocking my Christmas colors today in honor of this. You know how I get down. You know how I get down. But let me say in all seriousness, I was part of the effort to keep the seat of Kamala Harris, President-elect, now Senator Kamala Harris, in the hands of an African-American woman. We have fought hard here in this state. I know that Commissioner Simon can attest to this fact. We fought hard in this state to be respected, to be seen. There's a lot to unpack in terms of the musical chairs associated with this appointment. I'm very disappointed that the governor didn't agree with us to keep the seat in the hands of a black woman, as I believe he should have. There was a national effort to encourage him to do so. We've reduced the number of African Americans in the Senate by 1/3. Now we have a senator from, of course, New Jersey and one from South Carolina. And now what we don't have is an African American woman, the voice of an African American woman in the upper house of the United States Congress. So I'm very disappointed on that level.
Yeah, and Timothy, I understand that San Francisco's mayor, who is an African-American woman, I've spoken to her, you've known her for many, many years, and that's Mayor London Breed, is not at all happy with the governor for making this appointment. Why?
Because London Nicole Breed is the type of courageous African-American elected official that African-Americans need today. She doesn't read the memo about what you can and cannot do as a Democrat. I should also point out that Gavin Newsom swore her in at her inauguration. They're very close, but her obligation is to the people. And she said to him publicly, "You've made a grave mistake." You know, my mother was one of the most forgiving people that ever lived, God rest her soul. My father would say forgive, but never forget. Being a former appointment secretary, being in the room where it happens, when you're making that choice of who you're going to appoint to fill that seat. And there are many factors. Can they defend the seat and other things that occur? But I believe the governor was the recipient of bad advice. Senator Kamala Harris beat Loretta Sanchez handedly for that Senate seat. Senator Dianne Feinstein beat Kevin De Leon, who, by the way, was the Senate President pro tem in her reelection. So what it really troubled me, and I love the Latinx or Latino community. We share many alliances, but as African Americans, we're like Bruce Lee in a kung fu movie. We got to fight on all sides, and it's regrettable because the moment that Joe Biden declared Kamala Harris as her running mate, they started a pack to encourage Governor Newsom to put a Latino in that seat. Now, let's get behind all of that. Alex Padilla is a wonderful man, brilliant, MIT graduate. He's been an ally of ours, and I believe at the end of the day, he's going to do the right thing as a United States Senator. But he supported Gavin Newsom over Antonio Villaraigosa in the run for governor. And what we have witnessed is the patronage, the bounty, the collection for that endorsement and support. Politics is a blood sport. And that is what Gavin has done. Governor Newsom, excuse me, I make that mistake calling him first name because I do consider him a friend. But I believe he's the recipient of bad advice. And I do think now that Senate seat, when it comes up in 2 years, is going to be a very hard-fought election for whoever jumps in.
The governor tried to make this better by now, and I know we're going to talk about it, appointing the chair of the California Legislative Black Caucus, the brilliant and courageous Dr. Shirley Weber, the first African American who will now serve as our state Secretary of State. Again, we'll talk more about that, but that doesn't cleanse the fact that this should have been a seat retained by an African American woman in the United States Senate from California.
Gentlemen, I know we could talk about this a lot more, but I want to take a break and come back and talk about this stimulus package that the President of the United States is holding up. Why? Because he wants more money given to the American people. That's next.